St. Louisans stranded in paradise and stuck in the middle of pandemonium.
I'm worried about if we're actually going to get home.
Tonight, their struggle to get back north of the border.
Warmer weather is coming, but it doesn't last. The wild swings we see over the next 7 days and how that impacts your weekend plans.
County council conflict.
The county executive feels like he can throw this council under the bus.
The new battles tonight in the council war with the county executive. You're taking a live look over the U.S. Capitol, where just moments ago, President Donald Trump wrapped up his State of the Union speech. The president highlighted his immigration enforcement actions and touted the economy under his administration. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, will have more on the speech in just a few minutes. First, our top story tonight, pointed words from the St. Louis County Council directed at County Executive Sam Page. This is 5 on your side at 10, a late edition. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Laura Barcheski was inside the council chambers tonight, where they tackled contentious issues like video lottery machines and the potential move of county headquarters.
On Monday, County Executive Sam Page released a statement announcing a 30-day pause on negotiations about a new temporary county headquarters because he had concerns over the council's behavior, saying, quote, "It's unsettling and disruptive to have the county council interjecting itself into contract negotiations. This is a function of the professional staff of the executive branch. The county council has contaminated the process." Page was not present during the county council's regular meeting on Tuesday. Council Chair Rita Days took a few moments to respond to these allegations.
We have not contaminated the process. We will be responsible for whatever happens in terms of these leases. We're responsible. And as you said earlier, as the county executive sachets out the door going into la-la land, we will be left here with whatever results come out of that process.
The council's also worried about Page's handling of video lottery terminals, which under a judge's ruling are illegal outside casinos, and the impact on local businesses.
The problem is most of them don't own the terminals. They're leased from another company, and where do they go? And what happens if this is then overturned on appeal? And they have to try to get them all back, and it creates havoc for these business owners.
About 2 hours earlier, Page held a news conference saying the Department of Revenue sent out 400 warning letters to liquor license holders, noting the county already has an ordinance against illegal gambling inside businesses with a liquor license.
Later this week, I'll be asking the St. Louis County Council for additional funding to fund 2 new positions in the Department of Revenue for inspectors to enforce the liquor license regulations and have these inspectors investigate the complaints that are coming into St. Louis County about VLTs.
Reporting in St. Louis County, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And the council says the state legislature is also considering regulations for video lottery terminals that could make it legal to use them outside casinos.
A sea of purple filled the Pattonville High School gymnasium tonight as the community honored sophomore basketball star Helena Elliott. The varsity player was shot and killed along with her father, Henry Williams, at their Ferguson home Saturday night. Purple was Helena's favorite color. Also during tonight's game, a single chair sat courtside in honor of the team.
You know, we're really hurting. And, you know, she was such an amazing kid, and we're choosing to remember that.
We want them to move forward in Helena's spirit, making good choices, doing the right thing, and living a life that means a lot, not only to them, but to the world around them. And that's what Helena Elliott means to Pattonville.
School leaders tell us Helena's 4 older siblings were also a part of the Pattonville family. Her mother also serves as a parent volunteer.
Tonight, Ferguson police are investigating another domestic-related killing. A woman is in custody accused of stabbing a man to death at a home on Ames Place. The victim's been identified as 36-year-old Raymond Williams. Charges are expected to be filed in the morning. Tonight, a man is charged in a murder connected to gunfire at a Ferguson funeral home. Jesse St. John is accused of shooting and killing 19-year-old Stefan Marmon last month in Jennings. He was already in custody for a different crime. Police say he fled officers in Florissant and crashed into 3 cars, including a school bus with children on it. Weeks later, 6 people were hurt when gunfire broke out at Marmon's funeral.
Tonight, we learned one of the sheriff's deputies killed yesterday in southwest Missouri once served a department here in St. Louis County. Michael Highslope worked for the Christian County Sheriff's Office since 2019. He previously served with the North County Police Cooperative. He was killed in a shootout yesterday with a suspect who was wanted for killing Christian County Deputy Gabriel Ramirez earlier in the day. The suspect also died during the shootout in Highlandville, Missouri. That's located south of Springfield. Tonight, all eastbound lanes of I-70 near T.R. Hughes are back open after a boxcar fire closed down some lanes. Now we understand that no one was hurt and the truck that was on fire has been towed. Also tonight, a house burned to the ground after a fire in Eureka. An adult and a child escaped the house and were not seriously hurt. A firefighter with a mild leg injury was taken to the hospital as a precaution. The fire caused traffic backups nearby.
Tonight, President Trump delivered a sweeping State of the Union, declaring the economy is booming and prices are falling.
He promised Americans cheaper gas, stronger job growth, and even the lowest drug prices in the world. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is verifying some of the president's biggest claims of the night. Mark?
Yeah, Mike and Kelly, I'm here at the touchscreen because we're going to size up some of the president's strongest claims on the economy. After all, we can measure them. And when you put his rhetoric side by side with publicly available data, the picture looks a bit different. So let's start first with the pain at the pump.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon.
All right, so here's the claim. You can see it, gasoline now below $2.30 a gallon in most states. We can verify that claim is false. Here's why. Let's advance this slide here now. According to the most recent current data published today, AAA lists the national average at $2.95. Not one state lists an average gas price below $2.30. One came close. That was Oklahoma at $2.37. What about this next big claim about jobs?
More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that.
All right, let's think about that. More Americans working today than at any time in the history. If you measure the raw number, it's actually 164.5 million Americans who have a job. That number is higher than ever because population is higher than ever before, but that's not how economists measure jobs numbers. There are a few more reliable ways to verify that: unemployment rate and labor force participation rate. Unemployment is at 4.3 right now. That's up from 4.0% when Biden left office. Let's go to the next slide here. Workforce participation rate is at 62.5% right now. That number was higher under Biden, the last Trump administration, Obama, both Bushes, Clinton, Reagan. It was even higher under Jimmy Carter. Other big takeaways here. Let's go forward if we can. So we see there, that's false. Next slide will show us even more. We'll go one more forward. The president doubled down on his tariff policies, saying he can go it alone with executive power. The big quote that stood out to me, quote, "Congressional action will not be necessary going forward." He also showed signs of sensitivity to the pain of high prices, promising the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world. He targeted large banks or hedge funds that buy up the housing stock and maybe drive housing prices higher. He also said that he, quote, lifted 2.4 million Americans off of food stamps. Reaction from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who said, interesting way to say he kicked people off of SNAP.
Minutes ago, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democrat response.
Since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price.
In the gallery of the House chambers tonight, St. Louisans Matthew and Brady Tkachuk and Clayton Keller, along with their U.S. men's hockey teammates. President Trump invited them after their Olympic gold medal win over Canada. He awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to goalie Connor Hellebuck. And the gold medal winning women's team declined the president's invite, citing scheduling conflicts. The president announced tonight they will be visiting the White House soon. After 5 on Your Side at 10, more analysis of the State of the Union from D.C. will be on our free streaming app. For information on downloading the app, just scan that QR code on your screen or search KSDK in your TV's app store.
Tonight, U.S. officials are urging American tourists in Mexico to shelter in place. Mexican special forces killed a notorious drug kingpin over the weekend. Chaos has followed as the cartel retaliates. Many flights into and out of Mexico, especially in Puerto Vallarta, have been canceled due to the ongoing violence. American travelers are stranded and unsure of how they will get back home.
Two St. Louis County women are among the many tourists now stranded in Mexico.
New tonight, they tell 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend they just want to get back home to their loved ones.
We've been planning it forever.
Last Friday, Karen Wilson and her cousin Pauletta Goldsby flew out of St. Louis Lambert International Airport to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
We just came to, enjoy ourselves and then get away from the cold weather. We were celebrating Karen's birthday.
But Sunday morning, their fun excursion took an unexpected and startling turn.
It was a really loud explosion. Everybody that was up there, we ducking.
They and more than 50 other tourists on board this cruise ship heard what sounded like a bomb, saw plumes of thick black smoke and vehicles on fire. The frantic moments just minutes after they took off for a private beach.
Karen is a Army vet, so she was trying to calm a lot of the tourists down. There was no transportation for us to get back to our resorts. I feel like we were placed in a danger zone to fend for ourselves.
Once they made it safely back to their resort, they learned they were witnessing the violent aftermath U.S. officials say followed after a Mexican army killed the leader of an infamous drug cartel.
We're seeing the cars like speed away.
Now, days later,
there's no flights.
So at this point, Goldsby and Wilson say their return flight to St. Louis still remains up in the air. The two moms tell me there's no guarantee they will get back here on Saturday.
I'm worried about the unknown. We don't need nothing. We just want to get back home to our babies.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Right now, the U.S. Embassy is telling American citizens who are in parts of Mexico, like Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, to shelter in place.
After 9 months and thousands of dollars in tickets, the city finally takes action. Why it's still far from fixing a St. Louis parking problem. A curtain call for an historic stage where Tina Turner and Chuck Berry once performed.
Never would I have thought, like years later, they would even be considering demolishing it.
The efforts tonight to preserve a piece of St. Louis history.
Some want the colder weather to be history. Mother Nature says March is right around the corner. What you need to know so you aren't surprised at how next month starts.
A decision is expected tomorrow on the fate of a North St. Louis landmark. For decades, Club Imperial hosted legends like Ike and Tina Turner.
And now the city says the vacant building is now too costly to save. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon shows us why some neighbors feel history could be discarded.
Dinner, movies, and some Stevie.
It's a melody conjured up from memories. Glancing back at these crumbling walls along West Florissant Avenue, Sharice Lewis Mason recalls performing here as a teenager.
I remember going up those steps. I remember them making that left.
Unaware that she was walking the same boards as Chuck Berry and Tina Turner.
They went all over the world, but they still came back to this small venue.
Decades later, the roof and floors of the former Club Imperial have now caved in. Structural engineers say the building is so unstable, it would cost $18 million just to stabilize it. Wednesday, the city's Land Reutilization Authority will ask for funding to begin demolishing much of the building.
All they had to do was secure the roof. We had drawings, everything to sustain that building. And they just let it go. The city did that.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd says she's been pushing for a music hall to come here for years. The condition of the building got worse after preservation efforts stalled. Officials say they're trying to save what's left.
We seek to retain several historical relics and features of the building, including medallions, things like the awning.
You just disrespected the community and did what you wanted to do. And that just wasn't fair to me. That was our history in this community.
One that inspired up-and-coming musicians to sing their song.
You're my lover and my friend, always there through thick and thin. Oh.
Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
Officials say if the demolition goes through, it could start in the spring with hopes of keeping those salvaged pieces for a future historical marker to honor the legends who once took the stage there.
Well, last night we told you about a car that had been abandoned downtown since April and accrued nearly $9,000 in parking tickets. Tonight, it appears the city has finally towed that car. But that's just the start. There are about 40,000 cars across St. Louis that are eligible for a boot, and the city only has 30 boots on hand.
It is day 24 of the search for Nancy Guthrie, and we have new information in the case. Investigators now suspect that some of the security video released by the FBI might have been from an earlier date. It is possible someone went to Guthrie's home before the abduction. Today Show host Savannah Guthrie released a new video today raising the reward for her mother's recovery to $1 million. The initial FBI award of $100,000 also still stands.
Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now.
Family will be donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the weather impact forecast, and our temperatures are going to go up, but just for a little while.
Yes, just for a little while. You know, it's this time of year, the end of February, the beginning of March, and March starts on Sunday, where things get kind of wonky. You can go one extreme or the other, and I think we're going to see some of that over the next few days. Today we were in the mid-50s, but boy, that gusty wind, it did not feel like it was in the 50s. Tonight, a little front sauntering through the region. It's trying to kick off some showers. There might be a spritz or two making its way out of this little band to the north of St. Louis. Can't imagine much more than that. We're dropping back into the mid and upper 30s tonight. We will stay mostly cloudy. The big thing, though, winds. They have settled down quite a bit this evening. They will not be nearly as strong tomorrow. They're out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. Temperature-wise, we're pretty close to where we were today. More clouds than sunshine, but some sun will filter through that cloud cover as we go into tomorrow. So mid-50s again tomorrow, mid-50s on Thursday. Then look at Friday and Saturday. We're close to 70 Friday. That high on Saturday's probably coming around lunchtime because by Sunday, we're only in the low to mid-40s. So a lot changing here over the next few days. We have another fast-moving system tomorrow evening. So after 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow night, there may be a few scattered showers across the area, and they may last for some of us into early on Thursday morning. Can't imagine this is going to produce much in the way of liquid. So if you're planning on being out early Thursday morning, odds are the roads might be a little damp, and that's it. Now, we jump to Saturday. Cold fronts coming in from the north during the morning. Cold air lags behind it. So that means we get one more day where temperatures are in the 60s, but then that colder air filters in as we head into Sunday. And then we have moisture coming in from the southwest. Will it be cold enough for some of this moisture to fall in the form of a few snowflakes, or will it be all rain? The reality is we don't even know if this will exist where it shows right now. It could be farther south, it may be farther north, and we certainly don't know the exact temperature profile this far out. It doesn't look like a major system at this point, but it is worth watching, and we'll keep you updated on it. As we head into next week, you see how cool it is. Temperatures only in the 40s here Sunday and Monday. Those are your first 2 days of March. It will start to warm some after that, but every single day next week, there is a chance there will be some rain in St. Louis. It will not rain continuously, though, for 5 or 6 days.
We do need it.
We do need that, but we don't need it for 5 or 6 days.
No, we don't.
Just kind of space it out there.
Scott, thanks. Frank is next with sports.
Mike SLU dug themselves a hole at Dayton. Did they get out? Mizzou in a big one against Tennessee. A look at Lars Nootbaar and a comment from the NHL commissioner. As great as they have been, the 25-2 Billikens obviously have a dent in their armor. And you don't have to be Dick Vitale to know what it is. They forget when the game starts because they don't start playing until halftime. Let's go to Dayton. Coach Schertz, thumbs up or thumbs down in your first half? Yes, we agree. When Javon Bennett drained this three, Dayton was up by 25 points 15 minutes in. The Bills started to chip away. Kellen Thames once again was a one-man wrecking crew, slithering inside. And then draining a three. You know he's feeling it when he's knocking down threes. How about in traffic, bucket in one? He had 24-62. SLU cut the lead to 11, but this was Dayton's night, throwing behind-the-back passes, getting the bucket in one. Flyers soar to a 77-62 victory.
They were terrific. They absolutely deserved to win. They completely, completely outclassed us on both ends. They were the better team. Wasn't any question.
Say what you will about Mizzou's up and down season, but they've had some great wins. Kentucky, Florida, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt. And I think if they beat Tennessee tonight, they're in the NCAA tournament. T.O. Barrett had one of those games where he simply said, "Stop me if you can, here I come." The Vols did not. Dennis Gates says, just keep doing it. Barrett again. Didn't we just see this move from Kellen Thames? Mark Mitchell, magnificent again. 23 points, bucket in one. Barrett had 28 on 12 of 17 shooting, including this Steve Nash kind of runner. Tigers roar, 73-69. The Cardinals with a rare night game in the Grapefruit League. Andre Palante, one of the many trying to make the Cardinals rotation. He was solid tonight. 2 innings, 2 Ks, and 1 earned run against the Nats. You know it's a lean night when I'm showing you a sacrifice bunt by Victor Scott II, the only RBI of the game. Cardinals managed just 3 hits, lose 6-1. Zach Parnes is profiling Cardinals all week in Jupiter. Take it away, Zach.
This year's St. Louis Cardinals team is young, which means veterans like Lars Nootbaar get a real chance to shine. They also become the old heads in the clubhouse.
I'm what they call UNC now.
UNC is short for uncle.
So I can kind of be a bridge and kind of be a voice of reason, to a certain extent for these guys.
Does it bother you to be called UNC?
A little bit, man. It is weird. I'm only 28 years old, I'm not that old, but around these guys, you say you're born in the 1900s and, it sounds like you're born with, dinosaurs and stuff.
Prehistoric jokes aside, Newt embraces giving back to the next generation of Cardinals.
Kind of pass what I've seen throughout the game and throughout my career and pass it on to these guys, and also be a baller on the field and try to play as hard as I can every single day.
The 28-year-old is in his 6th season with the big league club. Newt says Cardinals prospects have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity ahead.
I think now it gives these guys a great opportunity to kind of be themselves and find their own way and find their own lane in the big leagues. It's not easy, and you go through a ton of mental blocks throughout the season. Having guys to lean on, though, in the clubhouse and friends, genuine friends away from the field, those are kind of the things that help me.
A leader in the making. Now, St. Louis just needs him healthy. Nootbaar's been recovering from double heel surgery that he had in October of 2025. At the current moment, there's no formal timetable for Nootbaar's return, but manager Ollie Marmol tells us he's trending in the right direction. In Jupiter, Florida, Zach Parnes, 5 on your side.
Good stuff, Zach. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman came to town today. He was a part of a national sports forum held at Union Station. Andy Strickland on stage with him there. I asked the commish how the Olympics helps to create a lot of young hockey fans.
Miracle on Ice at the time started the momentum and growth of the game. A lot of the players who play now are the beneficiaries of what was built off of that. And I'm sure there were a lot of young people who saw the game on Sunday, no matter what country they were from, and said, gee, I'd like to be a part of that game.
I can just imagine the 9 and 10-year-olds who are going to the same rink that Matthew and Brady Tkachuk went to when they were that age and think, well, if they can make it, why not me?
And the females, too.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Joy Dunn is a hero in this town.
Right.
How bad a loss is this for the Billikens trying to make the NCAA tournament?
I think they're still fine. They just can't stumble much more.
They've been stumbling a lot lately.
They've lost 2 out of their last 3 and led just 10 minutes in those 3 games. Start the game when everybody else starts the game. Jeez.
Right. Frank, thanks.
A new chapter for local libraries, the big boost for some historic St. Louis branches.
The St. Louis County Library just broke ground on a brand new branch in Chesterfield. So this new building is actually going to replace the Samuel C. Sachs building, which closed down back in January. This is going to be the first library in the system that's going to have a coffee shop, which is super exciting. There are also plans for expanded children's and teen spaces, as well as study rooms, a big reading room, and even a garden area where you can read with an outdoor patio. So super exciting things coming to Chesterfield for the St. Louis County Library.
In other library news, the St. Louis Public Library System received a $50,000 grant from the Carnegie Corporation in New York.
The grant honors the legacy of Carnegie libraries in the U.S. St. Louis is home to 5 of these historic libraries named after philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. He funded the construction of more than 1,600 public libraries in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. A spokesperson says the grant will be invested in the 5 Carnegie libraries, that's Central, Barr, Cabanne, Carondelet, and Carpenter.
Quick final check.
All right, tomorrow morning is chilly, but not as cold as it has been. Don't expect to see a huge amount of sunshine tomorrow, but do expect it to be more comfortable. It's about the same temperature-wise, but we don't have the wind tomorrow. Tomorrow night into early Thursday, there may be a few light showers, no rain showers, no big deal. Close to 70 on Friday. By Sunday, only in the low to mid 40s.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on your phone and TV.
Have a great tomorrow.